Welcome back to Q&A week on Riley Everyday, where I answer your college basketball related questions from the Sleepers Media Discord. If you are not a part of that, the link is in the description, so make sure you join. Let's dive in. Today's question comes from Salacious B. Crum, and he requests, pick 5 programs going forward for the next decade that you believe will have the most success. He goes on to qualify it by saying conference banners and March Madness define success. Thank you, Salacious. Great question. And I would even add my own qualifier with consistency. I believe that is of paramount importance in this era. Obviously, there's a ton of player movement, rosters turn over every single season. Give me a coach who can avoid the low lows, minimize those years on the bubble. I'm looking for a coach and a program that I can depend on year in, year out to be top 15 or even top 10. So right off the bat, I want to give some honorable mentions with Arizona, Alabama, Florida, and Auburn. All 4 of these programs have potential to sustain success, the level that they have been at. I just question about how long their current coaches stay there, whether they retire or jump to another job. But shout out to those 4, really believe in what you're doing. But of course, y'all are here for the real countdown, so let's get into it with number 5, Kentucky. So of note, Kentucky is recruiting like Kentucky without John Calipari. Of course, it's a different type of brand than the one-and-done factory he created, but the additions are equally as impactful. Pope is shown to have the juice on the trail, and he has a knack for finding under-the-radar portal guys. I think about Amari Williams, I think about Kobe Brea, and I think about Lamont Butler. 3 up transfers who all hit. Moving on to number 4, I have Purdue. The reasoning here is this. Matt Painter has proven to be incredible at talent eval and player development, evidenced by 3 straight All-Americans in Jaden Ivey, Zach Edey, and Braden Smith. And none of that trio was remotely close to 5-star status coming out of high school. Purdue is always reliable, they show up in big games, and one of my favorite stats, over the last 4 seasons, Purdue has gone 41-3 in the non-con. And they're playing in big games here and largely handling business. Plus, Paint has shown he can take the Boilers to the mountaintop, they just need to finish the job. At number 3, I have Duke, and I give the Blue Devils bonus points here because there's a 98% chance that Shire isn't going anywhere. That 2%, possibility he might move up to the NBA, which I'm sure Duke fans will push back on, but I don't know, he just feels a little bit like an NBA guy to me. But more than likely, he just continues to get whoever he wants on the recruiting trail for the next 3 decades, and I'm unhappy about it. But on the Duke basketball program, it sells itself, and that's because they're innovative and forward-thinking with pretty much everything from roster construction to branding. The only reason I don't move them up higher is I'm itching to see what Shire looks like in a post-Cooper Flag world. Because remember, this time last year, he was coming off of getting swept by Hubert Davis and largely underachieving with a star-studded roster. At number 2, I have UConn, and I know some of y'all might hear this and think, they were back-to-back champs a year ago, why are they not number 1? Well, first, I would just add that number 2 over the next decade, that's not bad. You take that 10 times out of 10 if you're a UConn fan. I am a massive fan of Dan Hurley as a coach. His teams have a clear identity year in, year out, and the man runs beautiful, beautiful offense. But to play a little devil's advocate, I have the tiniest fear that those back-to-back title runs were the outlier and Hurley is closer to the coach who gets 4 to 5 seeds more often than 1 seed. Now, to push back on my own pushback, the dude is an expert at roster construction. He can get guys out of high school, out of the portal, and out of the international pool. So there's not too much to critique. And at number 1, I have Houston. Honestly, I have the Cougars with a bullet because I said this during my series on Big 12 storylines, but they haven't finished lower than 5th on KenPom since pre-pandemic times. In that span, they've made 3 Elite 8s and 2 Final 4s. I know Kelvin Sampson is getting up there in age, which could lead you to believe that last season was the year, but then he returned Milos Uzan and he added a top 5 freshman class, showing that he'll get another crack at it. Plus, once Kelvin retires, you get Kellen Sampson. And I get any sort of skepticism regarding internal promotions, but I believe this will be the rare case where it works out swimmingly. I've only heard glowing reviews about Kellen.